There we go. Just stretch back there because there's no feeder. Everybody likes this car. Until they drive it.
A coupe must demonstrate a strong emotional appeal that makes you want to touch or drive the vehicle as soon as you see it. This is what we aim for with the RC.
I think we can all agree that they've achieved that goal. The Lexus RC certainly provokes a reaction, unless you're this guy.
The problem is, no matter how many lovely endorphins have gone rushing into your brain upon looking at this thing, as soon as you actually drive it, they'll go racing back quicker than you can say Toyota Prius.
Yep, imagine buying a lovely MacBook Air, opening it up and discovering that it's running on Windows Vista. Or biting into a Ferrero Rocher and finding out it's full of mayonnaise.
Monsieur, with this Rocher already...
Okay, I'm exaggerating a bit, but there really is a gulf between the dynamic expectation and the reality. And that's because it drives like one of these. Yep, it's a petrol-electric hybrid. Sure, it's more powerful than the Prius and it's rear-wheel drive, but it basically feels the same. There's still that horrible noise when you accelerate because the CVT gearbox is holding the engine at a speed that it's most efficient. What that means is you don't get the climb through the rev range and then back down again that you would with a conventional gearbox with a set of ratios. It just stays there.
Now you can get a couple of versions without the hybrid system, but they're both problematic in their own ways. The first one is a 2-litre turbo petrol, and that's barely any quicker than the hybrid, but it can't even muster 40 miles per gallon. Which is probably why Lexus stopped selling it a couple of months ago. So if you want one of those, you're gonna have to go to the pre-loved section of the dealership. And the second one is a 5-litre V8 that costs more than 60 grand, so most of us can discount that one too.
So we're pretty much stuck with this.
Thankfully there are some redeeming features to focus on, the main one being that it's not a diesel.
Because it's not one of those, there's no clattery din to deal with. See, instead, most of the time at low speeds, the RC is proper refined. And the ride quality's okay as well. It's a bit jarring occasionally, but generally it's a pretty smooth car. So at low speeds, that combination of having the electric motor doing the work a lot of the time, which is silent of course, and the ride quality being okay, means that this is really refined. In fact, if you're generally a gentle sort of a driver, you'll probably love this because when it's not going quick, it's really quiet and really nice. It's right at home when you're driving it like you've got the last tank of fuel that there'll ever be in the world. So keep things gentle, and there are few 4-seat coupes that are as quiet as this.
Well, I say 4-seat. The other thing that's problematic in the RC is that it's absolutely tiny. And yes, it's true that these sort of coupes aren't supposed to be family cars, but they are supposed to be on the cusp, as in you can just about make it work if you're the sort of show-off who also happens to have a couple of kids. The amount of space in the back of the RC is pathetic, which is not something you can say about the other 2-door coupes that you might be thinking about buying. Coupes like this one, or this one, or this one. And 2 of those also come with a pair of extra doors and a hatchback boot, if you like. See?
And to be honest, if it's unpleasant at the back, it's not really that much better up front. I really do think this cabin is quite poor. Now I know that will be a controversial statement because actually there are a lot of people who will get into this car and think it's amazing with all these buttons and sliders and textures and layers and just all the stuff that's going on. For me, it's the perfect example of designers confusing luxury with excess. I just think somebody should sit down the Lexus design team in a modern Volvo and show them that luxury doesn't have to look busy. It can be calm and relaxing while still feeling really high class.
Same goes for the infotainment, which uses an overcomplicated and convoluted touchpad system complete with an array of incessant bonging noises. And then there are the other minor irritations that are littered throughout the process of using an RC. Like how there's no belt feeder for the seat belts, so because the B-pillar's so far back, you have to really stretch to get it, and you might put your back out. It's a first world problem, I know this, but it's not a problem that somebody who bought a 40 grand Audi or BMW or Mercedes coupe would have. And it also uses a foot operated parking brake like a Mercedes in the 90s. And it moves the steering wheel forward for you when you're getting out, which is clearly meant to make it more convenient for you, but actually just gets in the way of your knees.
Okay, I'm ranting now, I'm really sorry. I think I just get really annoyed because I look at this car from the outside and I really want to like it, and it's the sort of car that you really want to recommend to people. But if you come out of any of the cars that you might also be considering and get into this, it just feels so far behind.
Or does it? See, there is the whole cost issue upon which the entire hybrid ownership experience is predicated. So let's look at some figures. You'll see here that if you compare the 300h to similar stuff from BMW and Mercedes, then it comes out quite well in a basic sense. Better MPG, lower CO2 emissions, more power, etc. It is slower like. It's even in a lower BIK band than those two cars, and it costs a bit less in VED. However, because of a number of factors, including its higher list price, its lower residuals, its higher insurance group and such, its actual pence per mile running costs are about the same as both. In other words, you're getting no real substantial cost benefit in running one of these over one of the other two, both of which are much better in pretty much every way. So, again,
in a class in which the Audi A5 and the C-Class Coupe and the BMW 4 Series exist, you drive this and there's just no reason to recommend it.
But it is well equipped, really well equipped. Even the name of the basic trim gives you a good idea of what Lexus is trying to accomplish. It comes with full leather upholstery, electrically adjustable seats, keyless entry, proper LED headlights. I could go on, but I won't. Instead, what I'll do is I'll impress you with the next level up, which is called F Sport, and it has all this extra stuff. Do you want to play some elevator music here and we'll just let them look at the stuff? And even further up, it gets one of the best stereos money can buy, although you'll notice it says navigation now, which tells you that the other two trims don't have it as standard and you have to pick. Right, this is getting boring now, so it's time to finish. In conclusion, I do like it, even though it probably hasn't come across in this mini rant for the last 5 minutes or so. It does look fantastic and it is rare, and in this sector in particular, that is very important because of course all the other cars that I've been mentioning certainly are not rare. And it is, of course,
the Japanese Mercedes.
Couldn't not do that, could I? I just don't love Lexi. What can I say? Okay, thanks for watching. As ever, leave a comment underneath, especially if you're an RC owner and you'd like to accuse me of being biased or clueless. And subscribe to the YouTube channel. We'd appreciate that. Thanks a lot. Bye.